Friday afternoon, and we finally have a line out for the Jets-Houston game. It's Houston +3 at home, totals 40.5. I'm Peter Loshak. You're watching SBR Videos. We're going to talk with the best in the business, Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com, to make heads or tails of this line. Joe Duffy, thanks for being with us. Houston beat Cincinnati on Monday Night Football. A nice win, but they're off a short week. The Jets last played on Thursday. They're on a long week. And now TJ Yates is in for Houston. TJ Yates is definitely serviceable for sure. It's not a huge step down, I don't think, from Hoyer. DeAndre Hopkins, though, was just listed as questionable. That's definitely concerning. I'm not exactly sure what to make of that, but if he's out, that's a big knock on Houston as far as I'm concerned. My sense is that the Jets are the play here. It does make me nervous, though, because of the coaching and the quarterback, right? Todd Bowles is a crappy coach. And that's just makes me very nervous when you're betting a team as a road favorite. And then Fitzpatrick, he always has a late season swoon. He played terribly last game in the first half. Is that a sign of things to come, or is that more of an anomaly? I'm not sure. Brandon Marshall has multiple injuries. That's not good for the Jets. My sense is, though, the lean is the Jets -3, but I'm not sure how strong. Joe Duffy, do you agree with that or not?
I would disagree with that, although then again, I'm not so strong the other way, to be honest with you. Look, Chris Ivory, he struggled a little bit. He did bounce back last week, but 3 of his last 4 games have been terrible. I always had some doubts about the Jets' offense. I think their offense is mediocre at best. Ryan Fitzpatrick, solid quarterback. He's certainly not among the elite. He does have, as you said, a star wide receiver in Brandon Marshall. Whether or not they have a much better than average running back in Ivory kind of is fairly debatable, and I think the Jets' defense has been on the field a little bit too much. That's one of the reasons why they have been struggling as of late. If you really think Todd Bowles is a bad coach, this is where you need a good coach when they are starting to struggle. They got off to that great start. They've now dropped 3 of their last 4 straight up, and I do think with the Texans, with the case with Yates, look, they've had 3 mediocre quarterbacks, so if anything, Yates might give them a little bit of an element of surprise. Maybe he'll give them a little bit of an emotional lift. I don't think that really hurts them all that much. I actually think Houston's the pretty good play here.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because their defense has suddenly started to play a lot better than it was at the beginning of the year, a lot closer to what they were supposed to be as advertised at the beginning of the year. Does it make you nervous that DeAndre Hopkins suddenly listed as questionable?
Yeah, that is a very big injury indeed. He is really their only weapon, and neither one of these teams have great weapons, so maybe you might want to even look at the under. But yeah, Hopkins has been ridiculous this year, as I said, without Arian Foster to keep the defense honest, and with 3 mediocre quarterbacks, the numbers that he's put up this year, I think he's probably the most underrated. I'm not saying that he would get the MVP, but I do think he should be considered because he's putting up ridiculous numbers with nobody to really take the pressure off of him.
Well, we might see some significant movement on this line by kickoff. Right now, though, we have Houston +3, totals 40.5. Joe Duffy, do you want to make this a pass, or do you want to give us something official here?
I'll go with the Houston Texans getting the 3.
All right, Joe Duffy, going official in our videos with the Houston +3. I'm still going to feel this game out a little bit, see what's up with DeAndre Hopkins before I decide what I think of this one. Joe Duffy, thanks so much for your thoughts on this game. Of course, you kill it year in and year out, week in and week out at your website, OffshoreInsiders.com. Tell us about that, Joe.
I've had one slump since the summer, and it was short-lived. We just got rid of that. 14-3 the last 17 as I file this report. Perfect 3-0 already this week in football. Huge NFL and college football card is up for this weekend. Joe Duffy's picks at OffshoreInsiders.com.
That's awesome, Joe. Talk to you again on Monday for the 3 Thanksgiving games.
You got it, Peter.